In the heart of Lower Galilee, Mount Tabor rises like a gentle giant from the Jezreel Valley. Its round, dome-like shape makes it instantly recognizable. Green trees blanket its slopes, and from the summit the views stretch for miles. Mount Tabor is more than just a mountain, it's a place where heaven seems to touch earth. For thousands of years people have looked at this mountain with awe and wonder. Its solitary peak stands apart, giving it a sacred, almost mystical feel. Sunrises and sunsets bathe it in golden light, making it a beacon in the landscape. Mount Tabor has witnessed empires rise and fall, battles fought and prayers whispered. It is a spiritual landmark, a place where stories of faith and divine encounters unfold. The mountain calls us to look up, to seek higher ground, and to remember there is more to life than what we see in the valleys. It invites us to explore its history and discover its inspiration. Let us begin this journey to Mount Tabor. Let us uncover its secrets and the lessons it holds. This mountain is not just a geographical feature, it is a silent preacher, telling of God's majesty. Many have found their way here seeking something more. Mount Tabor stands as an invitation. It invites us to find our own moments of connection with God. Let's ascend together and see what this mountain has to teach us. The journey starts now. Mount Tabor is woven into the fabric of the Bible. It's a symbol of God's power, faithfulness, and glory. In the Old Testament, Tabor marked the borders of Israel's tribes, Zebulun, Issachar, and Naphtali. But it was more than a landmark, it became a stage for God's mighty acts. High places like Tabor were often chosen for worship, drawing people closer to the divine. Here people sought God, offered prayers, and remembered His promises. In the New Testament, tradition holds Mount Tabor as the site of the Transfiguration. Jesus revealed His divine nature to His closest disciples on this mountain. This event transformed Tabor's meaning forever. It became a place where the veil between heaven and earth was pulled back. Mount Tabor bridges the Old and New Testaments. It connects God's work throughout history. It stands as a witness to His unfolding plan of salvation. Tabor reminds us that God chooses specific places for extraordinary encounters. It's a place where ordinary people met an extraordinary God. The mountain story is a call to seek God's presence in our own lives. Mount Tabor is a symbol of hope and revelation. Its legacy continues to inspire faith. On Mount Tabor, the book of Judges tells a story of courage and faith. Israel was oppressed by King Jabin and Sisera's iron chariots for 20 years. God raised up Deborah, a wise prophetess, who called Barak to gather 10,000 men. God promised victory, but Barak asked Deborah to go with him. She agreed, saying the honor would go to a woman. Barak's men faced Sisera's army, trusting God's promise. Deborah declared, "Go, the Lord has given Sisera into your hands." The Lord routed Sisera's army. Israel won a miraculous victory. Mount Tabor stands as a reminder. God uses the weak to overcome the strong. The story of Deborah and Barak inspires us to trust God's promises. Mount Tabor remains a beacon of hope and faith. Mount Tabor became the setting for the Transfiguration. Jesus took Peter, James, and John up a high mountain. There he was transfigured before them, his face shining like the sun, his clothes dazzling white. Moses and Elijah appeared, speaking with Jesus. A bright cloud enveloped them, and God's voice declared, "This is my son, listen to him." When they looked up, only Jesus remained. The Transfiguration confirmed Jesus' divine identity and authority. Mount Tabor became a holy place where heaven touched earth. Its message endures, listen to him. Mount Tabor's significance goes beyond history. It sings in the poetry of the Bible. Psalm 89:12 declares, "Tabor and Hermon sing for joy at your name." These mountains represent the beauty and grandeur of God's creation. They are personified, described as rejoicing in God's presence. Even the mountains, silent and strong, reflect God's glory. The psalmist saw Tabor's beauty and was moved to praise. The mountain became a reason to worship, a reminder of God's power. Tabor's distinct shape made it a natural symbol, visible for miles. For ancient Israel, it was a familiar sight and a constant presence. The poetry of Tabor helps us connect with God emotionally, inspiring awe and wonder. It teaches us to see the world through eyes of faith. Mount Tabor is more than a sight, it's a poetic image and a teacher. It reminds us that even the mountains sing for joy. Tabor invites us to join creation in praising the Creator. Its song is one of joy, beauty, and worship. Mount Tabor's slopes are rich with history and archaeology. Evidence shows people lived here for thousands of years. Canaanites built fortifications recognizing its strategic value. Its height made it a natural fortress and lookout. Over centuries, Romans, Byzantines, Crusaders and Muslims all left their mark. Each era added layers to the mountain's story. Its religious significance grew, especially with the tradition of the Transfiguration. Early Christians built churches on the summit to honor this holy site. The most prominent structure today is the Church of the Transfiguration, completed in 1924. Designed by Antonio Barluzzi, it incorporates elements from earlier churches. The basilica features 2 towers for Moses and Elijah, and a sanctuary for Jesus. Inside, mosaics depict the Transfiguration. The church stands over ruins of Byzantine and Crusader structures. Mount Tabor's stones have witnessed countless prayers and generations of faith. Pilgrims come to experience the peace and glory of this sacred mountain. The mountain's history is a tapestry of faith, conflict, and devotion. Its enduring significance draws people from around the world. Mount Tabor is a living monument to ancient faith. It invites us to connect with the past and find inspiration for today. The mountain's legacy continues to shape lives. Mount Tabor remains a vibrant center of faith and culture today. Thousands of pilgrims visit each year seeking spiritual renewal. Christians come to walk where Jesus was transfigured and to pray in the Church of the Transfiguration. The mountain also holds meaning for Jews, Druze, and local communities. It's a landmark in Galilee, part of the region's shared heritage. The area is home to diverse cultures and traditions, making it unique and lively. Mount Tabor is a place where history and modern life intersect. Beyond its spiritual significance, it's a nature reserve with lush oaks and wildflowers. Hiking trails offer stunning views of the Jezreel Valley. People come for faith, history, and the beauty of creation. The mountain's natural splendor adds to its appeal. It reminds us that God reveals himself in the world he made. Mount Tabor is a destination for seekers, historians, and nature lovers alike. All who visit can experience its peace and ancient holiness. The mountain inspires awe and reflection. It stands as a beacon of hope and faith. Mount Tabor calls us to look upward, to seek what is above. Its story continues to draw people from all walks of life. The mountain's beauty and legacy endure. Mount Tabor is a treasure for all generations. Mount Tabor is more than a mountain. It's a teacher of faith. Deborah and Barak faced impossible odds, but trusted God's promise and won victory. Their story shows that faith is trusting God even when the path is unclear. Obedience is another lesson. Barak hesitated but ultimately followed God's call. Jesus too showed perfect obedience on the mountain, preparing for his suffering. Obedience often means stepping out of our comfort zones and trusting God's wisdom. Mount Tabor calls us to listen and obey God's voice. The Transfiguration revealed God's glory. Peter, James, and John saw Jesus in splendor. These moments of divine encounter strengthen our faith and give us hope. Mount Tabor reminds us that God's glory is real and powerful. Sometimes we glimpse that glory in answered prayers, peace, or creation's beauty. These Tabor moments anchor our faith and remind us what truly matters. The mountain's lessons are for us today. We all face challenges and doubts. Mount Tabor encourages us to respond with faith and obedience. God is with us, fighting for us. We are called to step out, serve, and change. Mount Tabor inspires us to seek God's glory and cherish his presence. The mountain story is one of transformation and hope. It calls us to deeper faith and trust. Mount Tabor's lessons endure for every generation. Let its message guide your journey. Mount Tabor stands as a symbol of God's call to rise above the ordinary. Just as God called Barak and Jesus led his disciples up the mountain, he calls us upward today. The journey isn't always easy, but it's worth it. We all face valleys, times of difficulty and doubt. Mount Tabor reminds us we can ascend with God's help. These are the moments where we meet God and gain new perspective. Mountaintop experiences equip and encourage us for life's battles. Remember your own Tabor moments, times when God's presence was undeniable. Cherish them, let them anchor your soul. When you're back in the valley, recall the clarity and hope you found on the summit. Let those memories fuel your faith and courage. The glory seen on the mountain is meant to light your path in the valley. Mount Tabor's story inspires us to face challenges with faith and seek God's glory. God is still in the business of transformation. He calls us to a deeper relationship, to be filled with his light. The upward call is for everyone. Will you ascend? Will you embrace your own Tabor moments? The glory awaits.